Well, hello and welcome. My name is Velma. You can connect with me at velmanolds.com. This is all about your leadership chat. What does that mean? You get to listen in on valuable insights from valuable leaders just like you. I want to encourage you to go ahead and subscribe so that you never miss another episode. And if this is of value to you, please share the nuggets that you're going to take away from all these great leaders. Hey, please give a big welcome to my special guest and your valuable leader, Kasten. Kathy, welcome to your leadership chat.
Thank you. I'm really excited to be here, Velma.
I'm so excited to have you.
Thank you. I was really excited to be on. I was thinking we've known each other for 5 or 6 years now.
Since 2017, to be exact. I don't know who's counting.
Yeah. The time goes by so fast. So that was really fun when I was thinking back and looking back through some pictures of the two of us at different events together. So awesome to be here.
Right. Yeah. That's when I had Revlon number 9. Now I got Wisdom number 10. So
there you go.
Things have changed, but you know what? Our friendship has stood this test of time, and I learned so much from you, and I can't wait for others to be able to listen in and learn from you today.
Thank you.
All right. Hey, well, I know about Kathy, but folks that are listening in don't. So I would love to kick it off and ask you to tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Okay. I am the CEO and founder of Lioncrest Leadership. And I work a lot with leaders that are either business owners or leaders in businesses or entrepreneurs. I do a lot of executive coaching, training, keynote speaking, write books, a lot of fun things like that. But it's been a crazy journey to get here. So in a nutshell, that's me.
Okay. And you have a wonderful husband and a beautiful daughter who is also a writer. She's an author, right? Yeah.
Yes,
so
yeah. I was late to the party. Both my daughter and my father had books out before I even thought about it.
But there's an author in you, so that should tell you.
I guess. Yes. Yeah. And I also have some beautiful grandchildren, so it's a really fun part of my life now. And I'm loving the time of life where I can enjoy that, plus give back to the generations coming after us. It's really fun.
Yeah, no, I love it. And I know you're going to share a little bit about, that as we get along. So okay, well, my first question for you, Kathy, is we are talking about valuable leaders. Those are people in your life that you would say, I would not be the woman I am today without this person or this person, Velma. To me, those are valuable leaders. They are people that sometimes they don't even know the impact that they make. And I would love for you to share who in Kathy's life is a valuable leader and why would you say that about them?
Oh, that's a great question. So first thing I'm going to say is because I'm a person of faith, my first leader is Christ in the scriptures. I think a lot about how he led. But if I were going to narrow down to somebody in my life who's on the earth with me here, I would have to say my mother. And I thought long and hard about that. There have been, as leaders, every step we take, there are people pouring into us, right? We never lead alone. Somebody's trained us or led us or invited us but I think my mom, and she would be surprised to hear that answer, I think. She was very dedicated to learning. She loved serving people. That was such a high priority for her.
Right.
Very giving and caring, and also very strong in finding solutions. There was never an option that she wouldn't figure it out.
Right.
And so I've really appreciated that gift in my own life, the desire to serve and to know that there's a way. I just have to figure out how to get there or find somebody else that knows how to get there.
Right.
So I think her compassion and love of people was something that I really valued a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, I got to meet your mom. So at a leadership conference that you hosted, and I had the honor of being one of your keynote speakers. And I got to meet her and see that leader, her leadership style, influence on not just me, but those that were participating, and your daughter. So her granddaughter really made a good impression there. And so she just also, in addition to the depth and insight of leadership and solving problems and, finding either you find the way or you create the way.
Right.
She had a great sense of humor. So I remember that. If she had
And
to
also
go
a
through.
hug. Yes, she hugged everybody. I think that
Yeah.
was another thing that always will stick with me. She had a really good way of connecting with people quickly to tell them that they mattered.
Yeah,
And
no, I love that. She would be someone I would describe as she leads with love.
right.
That was you could really sense it about her. And she did it in a way that showed she cared, but she also challenged you. I
Yes, she
felt challenged and I was the speaker. I'm not surprised that you spoke of your mom because I know that the impact, and you'll share that as we go forward, but I know the impact that she has had building and creating a legacy that you are now carrying forward. So
yes.
I'm not surprised by that. You said a line that I want to, just share with everybody. I quickly wrote it down, and it comes from your mom, and you said, "You never lead alone." I mean,
Right.
boom, drop the mic, put that on Twitter or anybody else that you need a line on. But I love that you never lead alone.
You
Um,
don't. You
yeah,
don't.
it's yeah, because you won't have anybody if you think you're leading and nobody's following, right? Yeah.
Well, and also understanding that everything we've learned, every
Yeah.
leadership skill we have, that's all been poured into us, right? And I just released an article not too long ago that was called Sometimes Leaders Need to Be Carried. I've had
Ooh,
time when the people around me
yeah,
have lifted me up. Maybe I was tired or maybe I had too many things on my plate. We
sure.
always have people around us. And if you're alone, you're not leading. So
Yeah, yeah. And it has a double meaning, right? Because you need people that are willing to follow you so that you have people you're influencing and impacting that makes you a leader. But then also, I love that whole angle where you're saying, sometimes you just need, as a leader, you need someone else to carry you. And so that reminds me of, and the bird watcher in me, for those of
yes,
you that don't know, but you've seen it over and over how geese fly in that V formation, and it has everything to do with when that lead geese gets tired, he drops back or she drops back, and then another one goes in that place to lead forward, and it's because you get tired. Um,
right,
and
right.
you just nailed that. I
Thank
love
you.
that. Yeah.
Thank you. That's just I think that's been part of the joy in the journey for me
Mhm.
is if we think as leaders we have to do all the things and be all the things, we're never going to be the leader that we could be. And
Wow.
so when we can lean into somebody else's insights and strengths and support, it makes us better leaders. And that part is fun for me. It actually lifts me up and helps me fly harder, right? Stay in the front longer.
And get a burger out of Kathy before you know it. No, I'm just,
I've
that's
got a bird
awesome.
feeder. I'm all set, but I'm not feeding geese right now.
Yeah, no, I got you. I got you. I love that. Your one-liner, joy in the journey. I'm picking up on some really sound bites that I want to restate in case someone misses it, because sometimes you say things as leaders, we say things and we don't realize the impact and the joy in the journey. I think we all have to find joy in the journey because it's not necessary. It's hard work.
It's hard work.
It's leading.
Hard work.
It's
And
hard work.
sometimes it's lonely work and sometimes it's confusing work and sometimes it's scary work, right? Usually when you're
Right.
in the front,
Mhm.
you don't know what's coming next always.
Yeah.
There have been times as a leader where you have to pivot unexpectedly. And so that's all part of it, I think, is finding the joy in each step, even in the failures as we walk through.
Yeah, right. Oh my gosh, yeah, that is so true. I love that. So your mom really made an impact, and I took away that her big message there is, you never lead alone. I love that. So we all know that we're balancing things in life, right? The scales. And when you know something, you have, I think, a responsibility to pay that forward. So my second question is really around, which I know you're doing, so I can't wait for others to hear this, but how does Kathy pay it forward to help other people uncover the valuable leader in them? What is it that you do?
This is an exciting part for me and a part of the leadership journey that I'm in right now that I love. I love
Yeah.
pouring into other leaders. It's so much fun for me. So I think there's a lot of pieces. One of the first things I try to do is really help them identify the gifts that they have and
Mm,
understand who they are because we're all unique.
Mm.
And I think we're in this time and place because we're the best person to fill it when we
Yeah.
shine the gifts that we have.
Yeah.
So helping someone to identify that, especially if they're new leaders or just have never had that opportunity, where are your gifts? What are the
Mhm.
strengths you bring as a leader, right? So
Right.
that's one thing. I think another thing is mentoring, giving them opportunities. Sometimes I'm co-hosting things or walking alongside of someone to help develop them, to
Yeah.
teach them some of the things that I've learned along the way. I love pouring into young leaders. I'm always looking for young people that are just starting out that I can bring to events, let
Yes.
them attend or have them help me behind the scenes and learn things. Another thing that I've done a lot in my life, I try to take people that I identify as really exceptional leadership quality people.
Hmm.
I try to make sure they get opportunities that maybe wouldn't be possible for them.
Mm.
So as an example, maybe introducing to somebody that they wouldn't have the chance to even be in the room with, or taking
Right.
them to an event that I can get an extra ticket and bring them along, right? Things like that can be really fun to
Hmm.
help them to up level. Another area I guess I would say is also encouraging them through the challenging times.
Yes.
There's this fallacy that leaders have it all together all the time and never make mistakes, right? We all know that's not true. Leadership is,
No.
sorry, Velma,
I know, right?
in your bubble. I'm sorry.
You
But
know
I
me,
think
and you know that I have been in Wilderness University. So,
me
yeah,
too, me
yeah.
too.
So, yeah, no, I love
So I
this.
think helping them, to really appreciate the cycle of failure can be a great step to success.
Yeah.
If we take the time to say, what did we learn? How can we apply it? What would we do again? What would we not do again? If I went back to the moment where I remember one of the best mentoring questions somebody ever asked me was, when did you know it was starting to fall apart?
Wow.
That was not what I was looking for at the time. I wanted consolation and a hug,
Right.
but it was a great question. And I have never forgotten that question. I ask it up to myself all the time because it allowed me to go back and look at a situation that hadn't played out the way I hoped
Sure.
and figure out, where did it come apart? Why did it come apart? What part did I play in that, if any? What would I do if I could go back and redo that again? So it was a really great, and I've applied learning from that to
Yeah.
situations since then. So
Mm.
sometimes it's helping these young leaders or other leaders, even if they're the same as us, I guess, to just appreciate it's okay. We're going to fail. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
Celebrate those moments and learn from them. And the mistake comes when we don't take anything from it and we just keep making the same mistake over and over.
Mm.
The growth comes from, what would we change? What did we learn? How, what went well?
Yeah.
How can I repeat that? So we're taking a moment to stop and reflect in the midst of all our busyness.
Yeah. Oh, that's powerful because sometimes and I know I've been guilty too. You want to get so much accomplished that you don't take the necessary moments to reflect on what did I learn? What could I do differently? And where am I on my path to accomplishing those goals? Just kind of staying focused and reflective on those things.
I
We
think
don't,
that's so important because otherwise, I have the image, those gerbil wheels where the little gerbil gets in there and they run, the hamster
right,
wheel.
right.
I feel like as leaders in general, we can get on there and we just run. we
Yeah,
don't, we're just going in the same circle. And at some point, it's really good to get off the gerbil wheel and step outside of it and say, do I even like where I'm going right now?
yeah, exactly. I love that. Yeah. Because sometimes you have this vision of where you want to go. And then as you start making progress towards that and steps in a forward motion, you need to pause and then just reevaluate and reflect and say, is that still where, am I going in the direction and after what I still want? Or
Right.
has things changed for me and for my environment? Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So that's a big part of it. Even for me, it's a constant question that I ask myself. I
Right.
think the other thing I was thinking about with leadership development, Velma, was collaboration, like we're doing today,
Mm.
right? I love
Yes. Oh, you're big on that.
I love it. I love it. I love to collaborate. I love to share back and forth. I love to promote other leaders. Kathy cannot serve, I don't know what we're at now, but 7 billion people in the world.
Yeah.
So finding other leaders and really leaning in and supporting each other, encouraging each other, uplifting each other, exposing, right? You have different
Yeah.
gifts than I have. So it's really nice when we can share back and forth.
Yeah, no, and I love that because it speaks to the fact that your gifts are given to you to give away. My gifts are given to me to give away. And people learn and they embrace and they follow base different leaders for different reasons. And the fact that to me collaboration is a superpower because it makes you a stronger leader because you're actually bringing other resources to the people that you serve or that need that different viewpoint, different voice, if you will. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you think of it from a sports analogy, even like a baseball team, for instance, if everybody on the team is a pitcher, you're never going to the World Series.
Right. Right. Yes.
Right? So we need all of those different pieces. And I think as leaders, accepting and understanding, it's wonderful to build out your team and to really support each other and to have multiple coaches and all of that. Like that's going to make us a more well-rounded team. You want to get a team of all-stars with all kinds of different skill sets.
Yeah, yeah, no, then that's one thing that I think we all are realizing. There's that quote that says, if you want to go fast, go alone. And if you want to go further, you go together. And if you look at any really successful leaders, you see that they surround themselves with a team of other successful, talented leaders. Dave Ramsey, he's got a group of leaders with him that have different talents and gifts, like you said, or Dr. John Maxwell, or even Zig Ziglar Corporation that he had. And I mean, you can look at even in corporations and companies, even small entrepreneurs. You taught me this lesson. You said best decision I ever made, Belma, was to get a virtual assistant. And I'm like, to do what? I'm trying to figure out how do I, and yet as leaders, we should know how to delegate. We should, but when you own your own business, it's you have to retrain, I think, your way of looking at collaboration and delegation differently.
Well, and also whether you have your own business or you're in a business, a
Right.
corporation, if you don't, I would say in the executive coaching I do and a lot of the training, that's one
Yes.
of the areas that's a big struggle for a lot of leaders is delegation.
Mm-hmm.
I can
Yes.
do it better. I can do it faster. I already know it needs to be done. So you see people that are at levels that should be thinking about development of their leadership teams and
Right.
future direction of the company. And they're, doing the payroll or they're doing whatever that's at a level that the younger leaders could do and grow from. So two
Mm-hmm.
things happen. One, it takes you away from the time to do the high level leadership work that
Right.
needs to be done. Nobody's steering the ship. And then the other thing that happens is you're also denying the young leaders underneath you the chance to learn and grow into those positions. So that's an area that I see a lot that's a big struggle. And I've been guilty of it myself, right?
Yeah, 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 no, absolutely. And I think you and I both subscribe to that school of thought. And I think others listening here will agree that the number one job of a leader is the development of other leaders.
Right.
And when you don't, like you say, when you try to do everything yourself because it may be faster and you may have be able to get it done quicker and the way you want it done, you are really doing a disservice to those that you're responsible for their leadership development because you're not giving them the opportunity.
Right. And you're also not setting your business up for success. I
Yeah.
mean, if you think
Yeah.
about succession planning, which I put quotes around the success part of that,
Yeah.
succession planning is about making sure that there's stability and safety and forward, preparation for your organization
Mm-hmm.
in the places where leaders are doing all of the critical items themselves. What
Yeah.
happens when you get sick? When
Yeah.
somebody in your family gets sick, when you have, a job change in my own life, that happened. We owned an ice cream parlor for a while. I have a crazy backstory. But we had an ice cream parlor for a while, and I had trained my team to do everything except the books.
Mm-hmm.
I was in perfect health. I had a great business. Things were going wonderfully. I was down there with them all the time. All of a sudden, I have a major health issue for 2 years that takes me out of that environment. Had I not put that time and energy into those young people, and at the time, I was only thinking about developing them. But what happened is it boomeranged back to me and they
Mm-hmm.
kept our business open. They ran it without me. It kept us profitable, right? All of the things that I hadn't even, to be honest, I hadn't even thought about at that time.
Sure.
It made me appreciate how quickly things can change for anybody. I was healthy before that. So pouring into those young people gave them continued jobs, gave me continued business, right? All of those things that when we take the time to pour into other people, not only do they benefit, but in the long run, we benefit too. And so do the people around us. There's more people that can answer the question or do the task. And you can, like a relay race, you can hand off that shuttle back and forth quickly and get a lot more accomplished in the long run.
Wow. Yeah, no, you're spot on for a number of things. And I know that those listening in are going to say, exactly right. Sometimes we want to take the rein and we want to do everything, but knowing that there's opportunities to develop other people that in the end is only going to benefit you as well. So there is that, double value in that you're helping that person grow, but you're also positioning you and your business for sustainable success. And that's your story there. I love it.
Yes. Yes. So hopefully that's helpful to somebody out there. If we can peel our fingers off the edge.
Right. Let go.
Yes, let go.
Yeah, let go. Okay.
Opportunity for them.
I love it. No, it's so true. It's so true when it comes to that. Now, Kathy, you know that folks are going to listen in, and it's great, the wonderful things you're doing to help other leaders, and in your business today, the things that you do and have been doing really to pour into the emerging leaders and even those that are seasoned leaders that just need a different way of thinking, need to sometimes take off those lenses that we get accustomed to and get a new vision, if you will, really reshake our eyes back to 2020. So my third question is around those that are listening in would love to have a big takeaway. They would say, okay, Kathy, what would you say to me to help me be more of a valuable leader personally and professionally? What's that big takeaway that you would want to land on the listeners today?
Well, I think I'm going to give it to you in two pieces. One, everything we do as a leader centers on relationships. I'm a task person. So I always think about all the things that have to get done. But the honest truth is I could have invented the best car or have the best business or whatever. If I don't have any relationships, nobody's going to buy it. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter how good my processes are, any of that, right? So at the end of the day, I really think leadership is about relationships at its core. Probably the best thing I've learned in my leadership journey, and it took me a long time to figure this out, Velma. The best thing I've learned is if I can meet someone where they are, not where I want them to be or where I think they should, at my side of it, but where they are, and give them something that makes an immediate positive impact in their life, that opens the door for all kinds of opportunities after that. Meeting them where they are. I have learned that if I can do something for someone in an hour or less that is life-changing, impactful, first, I know I've made a huge, opportunity growth moment for them, right? And I'm happy for them. I know something wonderful will come from that. But secondly, I like to equate it to like knocking, I don't know, maybe I'm getting dated now. I suppose they don't do this much anymore, but hotel room doors have those little chains sometimes. So I always think about when you have a first conversation with someone and you knock on the door, it's like you at the hotel and somebody opens that door and they kind of peek through and they want to see who are you and what do you want? We're trying to get to conversations and relationships where that chain comes off the door and they say, come on in and sit on my mental couch with me. Let's have a coffee chat.
Yeah,
right. Because now we have a chance to have a much deeper conversation that can go farther and give them more. But we have to get the chain off the door first. So the way that we have those moments is to really listen and understand them, not who we are. And then think about how do we pour into them to give them something that will give them a win today.
Yeah.
Right now.
Okay. Wow. That's impactful for sure, because there's such a void in communication. And leadership is all about having relationships in a way. And the best way to have a relationship is to truly have a conversation with someone. And how do you do that when the world has changed so much in the way that we communicate? just, everything from virtually, right, where body language is so important. And how do you, if cameras are not on, how do you see that with over 50% of messages coming through body language? Also, I mean, I'm all for technology, but these things can, limit your ability to have a relationship because
Yes.
it's text communication.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
That's where I spend, honestly, that's where I spend the bulk of my time with clients, is working on how to build those relationships. That's really my area of expertise, my primary area. So we're looking at things you were asking. It's harder for sure. I mean, you're only seeing me shoulders and head, right?
right. You're seeing me kind of crazy, but anyway, that's.
I think it's funny when you meet somebody and you discover they're 6'8", and all the conversations you've had on Zoom or whatever, you have no idea how tall they are.
Yes.
I've had clients now that I've never met in person. So that's a different, because some of them are in other countries or whatever. So how do we have those kind of relationships? Learning to look for cues and clues in the written words that they send, how they send notes, how they dress, what's behind them in their Zoom backgrounds. There's a lot of different things we can look for that give us little clues. And I think part of that, I've had people ask me, well, if you're modifying how you interact with Velma, for instance, does that make Kathy inauthentic? No, I'm just adjusting and saying it's a lot like, not to minimize adult growth, but when we talk to a baby, we talk baby talk. We're not changing who we are. We're trying to say, hey, baby, we see you and we love you, right? It's the same idea with grownups too. We're having these conversations with other people and saying, you matter to me enough to adjust.
Yeah. You're focused on being relevant. And the best way to be relevant is really to, communicate in a way that someone will understand the message, right?
Right.
It's been, I love to use the approach that Nelson Mandela, former president in South Africa, spent years inside prison for wrongly accused. And he spoke about the fact that, if you want to speak to someone, in a way that they understand, you want to speak in a language that they understand, you'll speak to their heart versus speaking in a language that you prefer, you're speaking to the head. And there's 18 inches from that head to the heart, and you want to reach to the heart when you have communication. And that gets back to full circle. You said it's all about relationships.
It is. You have to be able to tell people, I see you. I mean, I would say since COVID, that's been one of the biggest things I see, is this huge desire by people for someone to see them past the skin. Tell me that I matter on the inside, right? I want to know that you see me for more than what you see in the front.
Yeah, me, the person with the gifts and the talents, and what I say matters. If you've heard anything, in my message now, I'm on that pillar that there are 3 things in life that everyone wants, and everyone wants these 3 things. They all want to be seen. They all want to be heard, and they all want to be valued. And we as individuals, you listening in here with Kathy and I, we can all do that for everyone. So, I think you hit it on the head. It's about relationships that you have and how you relate and how relevant you are. What a big takeaway you're dropping here today.
Well, and too, Velma, just so that people don't get scared away by this, sometimes those direct connections can be really small. I remember one situation where a person I'd never met flagged me down in a parking lot and wanted to talk to me. I hadn't had a conversation with them. I didn't know them. And I said, what made you decide to reach out to me? And they said, you smiled at me.
Yeah.
I've never forgotten that. It's amazing how sometimes just the smallest act of kindness, or a question about their day, or an appreciation for a struggle they're going through, that can be enough.
Right.
It doesn't have to be a huge drawn out affair, in order to make that impact. I mean, I know that's true in my life. I love a nice smile from somebody when I'm in the middle of something. So,
well, you've heard it, that a smile in any language around the world, a smile means I like you. I mean,
Yeah,
it's kind of that diffuser, you know. So when people do smile at you or you see them smile, you're like, they see me, they recognize me, you know, and they're making a connection. And
right.
that's what happens with relationships and communication. You move to that connection with someone.
And it makes a difference in what happens next, because
Yeah,
if you want to have a meeting with someone, let's say, for instance, you're a business owner or a leader, and you're going to have a meeting with somebody new,
yeah.
you don't take the time to get to know them a little bit before you meet them, you're
Hmm.
going to miss all kinds of opportunities. There may be doors that never open. So, crazy example, Kathy is a 30,000-foot person. Mostly, I love to have the big picture first. So if somebody comes in and drops a 500-page report on my desk and says, "Hey, I got this great idea. I want you to read this," probably it's going whoof, and I'm never going to open the book. But if they tell me the big picture first, and I love the big picture, I will sit down and read that 500-page report. So it's that kind of an understanding of what makes a difference. Velma likes to have fun. I know that.
Yeah.
Right?
Hi, we're having your leadership chat with
Yes.
coffee, tea, or anything safe to drink on social media. So we can have fun.
That's right. And that's awesome. And it's important to appreciate and understand that, because
Yeah.
then what can we do that makes it fun, right? What can we do to laugh? Because for both of us, that's going to be more enjoyable. So that's part of that relationship building, is you're learning how to speak their language,
Yeah.
which not only makes them feel more comfortable and you have a better result, but also it produces better end game sales, or,
Mhm.
you get better hiring, you get better team members. All of that is side benefits to building these strong relationships up front.
Yes.
So just an aside I was thinking about, sorry to
No,
rabbit.
no, I love it, and you can tell how passionate you are about it. That you know you don't just talk it, you actually live it, and that's huge these days. You know, because true confession. You said, Kathy is a task person, but you recognize the importance of, it's not the projects, it's the people. And
Right.
once you have that relationship with people, projects, they happen because people
Yeah.
are the ones that make it happen. So you're living exactly the big idea, the big takeaway that you are sharing with all of us today.
Yay. Well, that's why I need women like Velma in my life. So yay, Velma.
Oh my goodness. No, thank you, Kathy. It's just been a joy. So I know you and I could talk, and we have, for hours, because Kathy and I have talked on the side and strategized about different ideas for business. And so trust me when I say we could talk for hours. But I know that I want to respect your time and the listeners' times. And I'd love for you to share a little bit about how listeners can learn more about you, learn more about what you do, where they can get your books. Just would you share a little bit more about that for us?
Sure. And I think these will be in the notes too, right, Velma?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you can go to lioncrestleadership.com. That's my website. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. Kathy Kasten on LinkedIn is probably the easiest place to find me. Also, if you go on my website, you'll see a place where you can join my email list. My books are available right now. I just released a brand new bestseller, so that's really exciting. That just came out this month,
Yes.
called The Legacy of Your Family Business. So you can get that on Amazon and Kindle or paperback, but I also have a really neat opportunity where you can get it as a digital book. And I actually read the audiobook, so there's an audiobook with it. And there's a downloadable PDF pack and a 5-minute personality guide. When you're in a pinch and you're thinking, okay, what do I do? How do I think about this person I'm about to meet? It's something you can use as a quick access. That's all in a package. And I think that'll be in the notes, but that's $4.99 for that package. So that's really a fun. I poured a lot in that book into relationship building.
Yeah.
And about how to make that happen, how to prepare for conversations, how to prepare your leadership teams. There's a lot of relationship in the book. So hopefully that will be really helpful. I was excited to write that. It's been a many decades of learning went into that book.
Yeah, no, and we really timed this so that you had the book out and you would be able to make it available and share with listeners. So we knew that it was coming, and I'm glad it worked out that way. But
Yeah.
Lioncrest Leadership.com is the website. And of course, Kathy Kasten on LinkedIn and other social media. So we'll make sure that shows up and folks can learn more about you and go to Amazon and check out the author and the books that are behind the author. Hey, thanks so much for watching another episode of Your Leadership Chat. I hope that you've enjoyed this video. Make sure that you hit the subscribe button here and tap that bell icon so that you never miss another episode. I hope too that you'll give us a thumbs up on the video for a like. And then if you feel led, please share the video with those who need to see it. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time on Your Leadership Chat. Bye for now.